You know when you wake up in the morning and your window's closed and you have that smelly, human, stagnant smell? That's what you call sleep smell. It's that, like, it's when a human being's been in a room breathing and their pores have been expiring. You know when you sniff a dog's paw, for example, after they've been sleeping, it's got that nice smell. Obviously, a human being has that, but times a lot more. That is a stinky smell. Essentially, what you're doing is that you're breathing in all the oxygen in the room, breathing back out carbon dioxide, and all the oxygen level is getting lower, and you're filling up the room with carbon dioxide. And we obviously work better, we work on oxygen. So now, imagine if you had the window open, you've got all the oxygen coming in from outside, fresh oxygen. Now there's less cars at night time, so there's less fumes in the atmosphere, less carbon monoxide, etc. So now your room is constantly flowing with oxygen, and any carbon dioxide you're breathing out, guess what? Doesn't just stay in the room, it'll go out the window. And so now when you wake up, you will have a fresh smelling room. When you wake up, it will basically be the same smell as if it's middle of the afternoon and the windows are open. So try going to sleep with your window open a little bit. Obviously, if you sleep by your window, it's going to get quite cold, and you might find that you're breathing in the cold air and you get a lot of mucus in your throat and a bunged nose, and you feel like you've got a cold. It's not a cold. It's your body seeing that there's foreign pathogens in the air, aka cold, damp, and it's protecting yourself by creating mucus. Now that is avoidable by simply not being directly by the cold air. If you are directly by the window, have the window open just a little bit. Just have the window open slightly, because air will find its way in, okay? Air will find its way in. If you are happy to have it open wide and you don't get ill, you don't get mucus in the morning, and you feel fine with a cold room, because your room will get cold, do it, okay? Do it. Just have the window open. You can choose whether it's open wide or not. Secondly, we fall asleep better when the temperature is cold. So being in a too hot room is not good. I like to open my window an hour before I sleep, so the temperature in the room drops significantly. When it gets a little chilly, I shut the window and then I'm ready for bed. I also sleep with my feet outside the covers. So I find that, you know, your head and your feet give off the most heat. So therefore, if my feet are out the covers and my head's out the covers, the heat is doing that. If it's going into my body and my feet are under the covers, the heat's going to build up under the covers, and you're going to get really fidgety. You're going to get too hot. You're going to be moving left and right and taking off your clothes and turning the pillow on the cold side, and all of that is not necessary. Changing the pillow, having your leg out, having the covers off, and then you get cold. It's not necessary. If your room isn't hot in the first place, you won't need to do all that. The way to get your room to the perfect temperature, so you're not tossing and turning because it's too hot to sleep, is to have the window open during the night, but more importantly, before bed, have the window open an hour before until the room is pretty cold, because it will heat up in the next hour before you sleep. It's not like you're going to be sleeping in the Antarctic. Just let the room get cold, and you will be able to snuggle under your covers, and you won't be cold, you won't be too hot, you'll be just right. And because the temperature in the room is cold versus hot, you're not going to be sticky and sweaty under the covers. Have your feet out. A lot of people, they get too hot when they try and sleep. Let me tell you something. Try having your feet out of the end of the covers. Have the window open when you sleep. Have the window open an hour or two. You can choose the time frame. Obviously, the whole point is getting the room to a temperature which is cold enough where you can sleep easier. Open the window an hour, 2 hours before you sleep, so the room is nice and cool. Guarantee you will find yourself sleeping so well. A cold room means you'll sleep quicker. You're not going to wake up during the night hot, tossing and turning because your feet are outside, and because the window's open, you're regulating the temperature in the room. Now, let's say the heating comes on, or you're sleeping, you're giving off heat. If you're under the covers, all the heat is storing under the covers. Where's it going? To the rest of your room. So with the window open, you're constantly balancing out the air and the temperature in the room. Cold air comes in, hot air goes out. Cold air comes in, neutralizes the temperature of the hot air. It's all about that neutralizing. It's almost like, you know, if you keep eating and don't go to the toilet, you're going to pop. If you eat and poo, You balance it out, make room for more. So that is what I want you to do. I want you to sleep with the window open. If you sleep too close to the window, you might find that you wake up with mucus, so have it open a little bit. If your bed isn't directly by the window, fantastic. Have the window open to a degree where you don't wake up and your room's freezing, okay? You don't want your room to be freezing during the night because you'll wake up and it'll be too cold. So you want to get that balance, okay? You'll find that the more, when you try this, you'll find, okay, I can open a little bit more, or maybe I can close it a little bit more, until you find that perfect temperature. And that gap is what you have your window every night. Air your room an hour or two before you sleep. Get oxygen in, get the temperature down, especially in the winter when the heating is on. God, how do people sleep in the winter with the heating on? It's just a nightmare. Oxygenate your room whilst you're sleeping. You'll sleep so much better when you're breathing in oxygen versus carbon dioxide. Also, you won't wake up smelling that stinky human smell that when people sleep, you smell. You know when someone's sleeping when you walk in that room and it stinks. It's stagnant, it's not nice. Feet out the bed, okay? Feet out the bed means that your body will be able to regulate itself, okay? You've been releasing heat from your head, releasing heat from your feet. If you have your feet in the covers, you'll be releasing heat from your feet, which will heat up the duvet, which will overheat your body, and you're going to want to toss and turn and move and turn the pillow around and put your leg out. Then it's going to get too cold and sleep with no covers, and you're going to wake up with the covers on, and then when you're awake, you can't get back to sleep because you start thinking about crap. It's a vicious circle. I sleep all the way through. I fall asleep within 5 minutes. I wake up 7-8 hours later naturally. I sleep all the way through like a baby. I lay on my back. I wake up on my back. My feet are out the bed. I literally sleep with my legs like that. And I tuck the duvet in here, right? Because I'm trying to keep my leg posture straight as opposed to it being like manscaping. Because I find that if you get too used to doing that, you're on a train, you're in the car, and your legs are like that. And it's not good for your hips. So I try and just keep my hips as straight as possible. And I wake up with my feet out. I literally don't move during the night at all. And then as soon as I wake up, guess what? I get up. So that's what I want you to do when you are sleeping.